the middle brother, he still has anger. He's still carrying around the anger of whatever he experienced of, his father and his lifestyle, how he grew up. And so, but me, like you said, not 3 houses, like feet away.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I go in this house, you don't even say hello to me for years, over 10 years. And I'm like, and I still gave him food, shovel the snow, birthday cards, still was kind to him. Hey, daddy. And I still carry that for years. And I'm like, he missed my graduations. So I got my master. I was like, listen, you're not going to miss this one. Like, you can't keep on doing this. Like, it's 10 years. Like, get over it. Whatever you're mad at, get over it.
Welcome to the Grief Bully podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Thank you for joining our weekly discussion around grief, mental health, and your overall personal wellness. The Grief Bully podcast will serve as a vehicle to help you navigate life's journey. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share the podcast with anyone in your life that you think it will help. Let's bully grief together. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the Grief Bully podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Guys, we're back in the building, rocking and rolling for another episode, and I'm not by myself today. I've got a hometown friend. I'm talking about childhood. We're adults now, but I got Jessica Kirkland with me today. What's up, Jess?
Hey.
How you doing?
I am wonderful. It's good seeing you.
You too, in person, right?
Yes.
Like when you have social media, it's like we're kind of talking about it a little bit off camera, that you feel like you see people, you see their lives kind of progressing or whatever they share, right? But then you're like, no, actually, I haven't seen that person in like a decade.
I know, it's been 20 years for us.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But it feels like I was just seeing you yesterday.
I know. No, you have been inspiring me with your workouts, though. I'm going to tell you, see, like, you never know who's watching and who's inspired.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, people really going to the gym.
I
got to go.
You got to have, it's the discipline. That's the real thing. That's really, I learned how to be disciplined, because when you start, I'm 207 pounds. I don't care to tell, but I was 210 pounds. And I'm like, I've never been this big before. And so when you start realizing that I don't like it. And so I need to start lifting weights. And I went to this one free Saturday at a boot camp. And then I was like, I think I like it. And then after that, I was like, I think I want to go back. I want to go back again. And they encourage you. So when you get the encouragement and you get the high fives, you're like, that's my friend, like my workout friend. And then after that, it's been 4 years working out, and I enjoyed the muscles. I enjoyed the look. I enjoyed the fit of it. So yeah, I appreciate that though.
No, really. Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's the same thing for me. I mean, well, no, not the same thing. It's definitely a different story. But no, like, just being like heavier, like 2021, like I lost a lot of weight. I felt good. I felt great. Like kind of like almost like a high school type fit. And I was like, this is great. I'll never have to worry about that again. I was like, and I'm back here at the same position again, trying to figure it out, But for me, I have learned that, and this is not what our conversation is about, but it's the relationship for me with like the food and then the lack of exercise, of course. But it pertains a lot of this to the grief part of it and just like how I cope, because actually I've been sober for 15 years. So I haven't had a drink or anything like that. So for me, those tough days where like a glass of wine is an option, or a nice like drink or nightcap or something, I'm like, I'm just gonna probably get ice cream, or I'm gonna do this, and so for me, I'm constantly just re-challenging. I'll do very well because I know it's a relationship that's not good. So anyway, let's fast forward. Thank you for the encouragement with the working out, but
well, if you want to come, we always can do I could come one day and try to push the little small push.
This is why you can't say anything.
Listen, I got 6 people to sign up. 6 people. I asked them, I bagged them, and I was like, please come. And 6 people signed up, so do it.
I got to stay open. I have to stay open, so I can't say no. I can't say no, and this is why when
we'll
you
have
say
that
things,
conversation later.
Yeah, you got to be accountable to things. But listen, I mean, I think these conversations are very special to me, because when I can have people come on the show and have a conversation that I've grown up with or that I've known since, they were children, and then we get older and it's like, okay, no one is really exempt from lifing, right? And so just knowing that when we talk about loss, it's something that's going to draw an intersection for all of us, because no matter what we've gone through or where we've gone after high school or life has taken us, you've experienced some sort of loss, whether that was a person, a job, a relationship, whatever, an identity, who knows. So having this opportunity where we can have these conversations and be like, well, I haven't seen you in 20 years, and I know you've experienced different things and loss, and just being able to talk about that. So like, what brings you to stop by and kind
You
of like
encouraged me when I saw you online. You have your ups and downs, your moments of happiness and sadness, and I was going through a lot. And then it's like, so seeing one in your video, I was like, I need to talk to you. I need to like get this off my chest. If somebody's not listening, I mean, you talk to your girlfriends, you kiki with them all the time, and then I feel like that's not the avenue that's helping me. And then you go to therapy and they tell you how to help yourself, but they're not listening to like the deep root problems that like I'm having and how it changed me. And I was like, I need to speak about it. So that's why it brought me here to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad that you decided to do that, because I think the one thing that you said is like huge, is that it changed you.
Yeah.
So whatever you went through, it changed you. And I think you're right. That part of our experiences doesn't get enough credit, because from the outside, mostly, because sometimes people do physically change, but we generally look similar. But then like internally and how we're perceiving the outside world is different. So like, just kind of walk us into that. Like, what have you gone through recently that like has changed you?
So well, before I talk about my recent change, I never experienced death until my 30s. Like I had one close death at 19, like I think I was a freshman in high school. That was my mom's boyfriend. She had this boyfriend and he had a heart attack, and that was like the closest thing to me. And I started liking him. I was a kid. And I was like, I don't like my mom's boyfriends.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch her, But then that was the first closest thing. But every year in my 30s, I lost somebody. And I'm like about to be 39 years old. And I'm like, again, I hope that this is like when I turn 39, please don't let me lose anybody, because I want to go through a year not having a sadness. And then not just losing people, I lost, I was pregnant. I got, I lost, had miscarriages. It's like a lot of things were happening of loss in my 30s. I'm like still haven't lived my best life. I put my smile on every day. It felt like you wake up and you just put like a mask on, you put a smile on, and I'm better. I'm more positive. I speak more optimistic. I try to change my lifestyle. But again, you go home and I'm unhappy. I'm sad. I look at pictures and I'm like, why? And in Longside we have those flags.
Sure.
And I was a part of that project, Rafiq and I. And so like seeing this flag every time I turn down Modi Road, I'm all like, why did you have to die? Like, really? Then it's like small things that just get you sad, and you go back to I just go back to my, shell and just don't want to talk to anybody or don't want to do anything, don't want to leave the house. So I feel like my issue of my life, like the first death that I experienced was my stepbrother before my brother, because I reached out to you about my brother, but it was my stepbrother. He had a tragic accident. He was a tow truck driver, and he had an accident, a head-on collision, and he flew out of the truck. And then and I really realized that people need to learn how to do CPR. If you could save a life, learn how to do CPR. And so when you have this whole tragic incident happen to him, and he survived, but he didn't survive like to wake up and to walk the next day. He didn't have full percentage of his brain, and then he died a year later in his sleep. I think he had a heart attack or it was a stroke. I can't remember. But then it was like, that was almost 2 years of struggling, of seeing someone that was so sweet to me growing up. He's, going to my dad's side, every time he gets me, I had to go to my stepmom's house, and it's my stepbrother was like loving, and then he died. Then it's like, wait, hold up. Somebody so young can really die. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this. So then you start trying to change your life, trying to start doing things. But guess what? I started going downhill. I started doing wrong things. Undercover. I was not, if I do wrong, I'm doing wrong by myself.
Right.
Like, I will not tell nobody.
I'm like, what?
No, I was doing wrong. I was making the wrong decisions.
Wow.
And, I'm not really a drinker. I'd never smoked before, but I did start drinking a little bit more, start doing just the dumbest decisions, making wrong decisions with men, everything. So then a year after that, not even a year, like 7 months, my brother and I, we have our birthdays 4 days apart. And then he married a woman that's the same birthday as mine. So his birthday's July 4th. And July 3rd, and my birthday's July 7th. So I called him on his birthday. I'm traveling because I love to travel. You know, you might see I'm always was traveling a lot around that year. And he was like, my back hurts. He fell off a roof. I didn't know, but he fell off a roof. He was an electrician and he hurt his back. He's like, oh, I'm having back issues. I'm just going to just chill for the day. Realized that he had 8 tumors wrapped around, like 8 tumors on his spine, paralyzing him.
So before he fell, he had them, but he didn't know until he fell.
He fought cancer since 2000. He had thyroid cancer. It spread to his lungs, then it spread to his his spine. So this man's been fighting cancer for so many years. So it's like, wait, hold up. No, I just already lost a brother. Like, or I had an issue with the tragic moments of having a brother. I didn't lose him yet, but I was like, tragic moments. For 2 years, it was a struggle. And having, hospitals not taking care of him. People don't want to, he went to 6 different hospitals and they were like, just give up on him. And one thing about him, it was that he made me believe in miracles. It made me believe that you don't need to be negative. You don't need to be your life. People having worse than you. And this man never spoke like negative. Thank you, Jesus, in Jesus' name, every day. For 2 years, this man went through, he had bed sores. You could fit like tennis balls.
Is your stepbrother?
No, my brother.
Oh, this is the one that had on the back.
So when I went through I'm like, my stepbrother went through a tragic accident, having this whole, losing his lifestyle, can't walk, can't move, can't really do anything. You got to be fed. And then now having a brother that can't even walk, almost similar, can't do anything. And it's like, okay, come on. Like, why back to back of 2 brothers that were very close to me? And I'm like, that's just too much for me. So 2 years my mom sat next to him for 2 years at the hospital. And I did like 2-3 days a week shifts. We did shifts, but I really realized that you can't, people are dying of cancer or dying something. And then he just made me realize that what's the point of talking negatively? What's the point of looking at life in bad where this man is saying, I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready to die. But in Jesus' name, I'm not ready to die. So I'm like, oh, goodness. Jeez. And then I had hand surgery. I had carpal tunnel and tendonitis surgery. So I'm sitting next to him with like hands wrapped. I'm like, I can't even wipe my I'm like, I can't even pull my own pants up, and I'm all complaining and mad, like frustrated that I'm having pain that I can't even really eat, use a fork or anything like that. But I'm sitting next to this man and his man got tumors around the spine and it spread it through his whole body and got bone cancer. Like, and he speaks positive. He will see you and be like, oh, God bless you every day. And I'm like, I need to start changing my lifestyle and start looking at life differently. So that really made me change of being a little bit more optimistic, positive, speaking differently, being a little bit more positive, getting out. Why am I drinking or doing the wrongs that I was doing behind closed doors? I should not be doing it because I was grieving over my stepbrother and no one knew. And every time I saw my stepmom, that's why I kind of like pulled away from my stepmom a little bit. I didn't really see her as much and everything. And I pulled away because I wouldn't want to look at her. She was making me sad just looking at her because she's sad. And I'm like, so it was just a lot of things was happening in 2 years. That's the first years of my 30s. And then after that, then COVID hit. And then COVID, I went to proms. I went to proms every year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So I went to a prom with someone I grew up with, Kyle. You know Kyle Sanders. So Kyle Sanders' cousin, then he died in the pandemic. During COVID. And then when he died, I was like, dang, I grew up with this boy. Then after that, my closest friend, Carlton. And Carlton, that we ate breakfast every Sunday. We went to Cracker Barrel, diners, everything. That was my right hand. I did in order for me to be involved alongside. It was because of him. I ran a basketball league for 7 years with him. We did adult basketball league, youth basketball league alongside. If it wasn't for him, I would never been involved alongside as how much I was. I'm not doing it anymore because I don't even have the effort in my life. It's like I'll cry probably if I try to do something like that because Carlton was a person was, big long side person. So when I lost him, I was like, I don't even want to live anymore. That's how it was. I'm like, what's the point of losing people that you are close to and they're just dying? And he just got a kidney 9 months and then die. I'm like, you just got a kidney, Carlton.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be doing a lot of things. We were supposed to run for council. I was supposed to be councilmate. He was thinking about trying to, run for being a council person. And I said, I'll be by your side if you do that. And we was having so many things on our list to do, and then you die. And I was like, I don't even know what to do with myself. So it was like back to back to back deaths.
A lot.
And then after that one, it was my grandma. She died her month before her 96th birthday. And I didn't grow up with her in her house. I was the only grandchild. I didn't grow up with her. So I started building a relationship with her when I got older. And it's like, really? And then after that was my aunt. So now the hierarchy of my family on my dad's side is dead. And my dad's the oldest. And now my dad's about to be 80 next month. It's like, what is going on? So every year I was going through something, and I was stressed about my job. I hated my job, trying to find a new job. I was trying to do this. I was in a relationship. I was doing a lot of wrong things personally because of all these deaths. And I didn't realize that they were connected. I just thought that, people die, you move on, you live life. But then you start realizing, like, I'm messing up my real life. I'm really messing up in life because I'm not, I can't grieve because my mom is grieving, and I live with my mom. I was like, I can't cry because she's crying. What's the point? I can't cry. My niece is crying, I can't cry because they're sad. It's no space for my grief. My stepmom's crying. Somebody's crying or somebody's grieving. Where's space for me to grieve when you're trying to be, because everyone always look at you as like the bubbly, nice, smiling and all that stuff. And then you go in your house or your room and you're trying to grieve. And then they get mad at you when you're in your room for a day or two or something. So I realized that a lot of deaths were happening back to back to back. And I was just like, I'm not ready for all this, like, emotions and feelings. And then hating my personal life of jobs. I'm in the job now that I love, but I hated work. I hated those jobs I was working, trying to build a career, trying to get to a career status of getting these degrees. And I'm like, I don't want to waste the money that you spend. Like, you graduate college, people don't go that. I went down that road, got an accounting degree. And I'm like, I'm not spending this. I'm not losing this money. I got a degree in this. I'm going to. So I realized that. But the hardest one was my brother, because I have another brother. We're not that close in relationship, but this one we were close. Birthdays, like we said, we have our birthdays only days apart. We just celebrated together all the time. So that one really hit me hard. And then Carlton really hit me hard too, because that was like another brother to me. And they graduated the same year. So I don't know what to do with myself. I really didn't know at all.
And you shared a lot, and I mean, thank you for walking us down that experience, because and this is the thing for me too. Like when I'm hearing certain conversations, and obviously, like, there's been probably now over 100 people, I guess, that I've interviewed, I guess, or I don't even like to call it interview, but had the conversations with. And I think sometimes, one of the first things that you said is the reason why I didn't even interrupt you that whole time, is because you're like, I need to get this off my chest, right? And I think it's really important, because having that time to just be able to do that is like, you might even just be like, phew, I didn't even, you just went down the whole thing and got it out, but that's a lot.
Yeah. And then, like I said, we didn't see each other for so many years, but just knowing me from growing up, you'll never expect certain things. Like I knew I was I wasn't, college, I wasn't I was mean, and because I was angry. I had daddy issues. They're resolved now. I went up to my dad like, Daddy, you have not been a part of my life for this amount of years. He missed my whole 20s, and I was like, I need you to be a part of my life now. And
did you have? I thought
my dad lived right down the street from me.
Is that what I'm thinking?
Three houses.
I knew what I wanted to say, but I wanted to kind of see if you was gonna be okay with me saying that. But I'm like, didn't your dad live down the street?
He moved back to Jersey when I was like moved alongside like 13 years old, and it was like just a bumpy ride with him. It was like he was so angry at my mom, them bumping heads, the divorce, the problems, the issues but I was a person like, I didn't care. That's not my problem. I wanted to be a child. And I love that I had a great stepmom, that she, even though it was like his time to have me or wanted me to be involved, she kept me involved. And so my relationship with my father was always like a bumpy. So that was like a hard thing. That's where I got the anger from, or not really wanting to be kind, I would say. And then like when I hit 18, that's where like everything fell apart. And then from 20 to 29, he didn't talk to me. And 3 houses down, he didn't talk to me.
He still lived 3 houses down, and you didn't talk for that many years.
He didn't talk to me. Not I talked to him.
He didn't. Okay,
He didn't talk to me.
That's important.
It's a
That's
difference.
important. Okay,
you know, if I gave him food, cards, and stuff, but he hurt. You know, he didn't understand how I was hurt by the hurt that he was having, and the hurt he was having wasn't my hurt that I gave him. I had to make decisions, and be in the middle of 2 parents, it was hard being pulled back and forth, and I'm the only child being pulled back and forth. And it was like he didn't have that understanding. But we're, you know, we went through our like, oh, you arguments, then we went through that hard time in the beginning of the relationship. But I asked him to date me. I was like, I need you to date me once a month, call me twice a week, and I need you to take me out. And then for 2 years he did that, and he dated me. We went to go and eat cheeseburgers.
That's powerful. So
I will say that relationships can, and I feel like that was in the beginning. I'm glad I had him in the beginning, before all these deaths were happening, because it made it easier to be around him when my brother was going sick. And then that relationship opened up the door of my mom and my dad having a better relationship, because I never had them in the same room.
Wow.
So even I went through personal stuff, I had some positive stuff too. I would say the grief, going through death definitely can give you positive things too, I would say. And I never had them in the same room all my life. You know, about to be 39 years old. And I took pictures. I would cameras like, oh my God, they're sitting next to each other. It was amazing. And then my mom and my stepmom never really, you know. And then but my stepmom was like, I know how you feel. I know what you're experiencing. Talking to her, you know, my mother, like, I know that I just lost a son not even a year ago, or, you know, 2 years. Like, I know. So that relationship kind of like was cordial. So we saw each other. Hey, hi, how you doing? And the funny thing is that when my grandma passed, it was my father's mother. My mom wore a dress that my stepmom gave me, and she didn't know it was. She gave it to me. So my stepmom was like, "What kind of dress? Didn't I get that dress? Looks familiar." And I was like, "That's the dress you gave me." And so my mom made a joke like, "We friends now." Like, So even though having a death, it gave me positive. Like the relationship that were broken are cordial. They're nice. You know, that my dad and my mom walks down the street, walks the dog. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? You know, they have their own personal relationship now because of their death, the death of their son. And it's really nice to have that part. So when you want to grieve and be sad, but sometimes, you know, I'm happy that something positive came out of his death.
Yeah, definitely. You know? That's a big thing. I mean, I think a lot of it is a lot. I think what you said too, though, is that like you're saying, like, you know, you were angry, or this is the anger, or whatever the case is. I mean, I think one of the things that continues to be a theme here with a lot of conversations is that we go through a lot of stuff and we don't have a manual, and a lot of times there's not people guiding you and helping you and telling you how to be. So then we get into like whatever emotion becomes comforting to us, whatever it is. If there's anger, if it's excitement, sometimes people are too friendly in ways that are become promiscuous. Like, who never knows like what emotion on that like spin wheel of life that we fall into. And I think that's why we have to just continue to give each other grace, right? But then to ourselves, because that's a lot to go through, you know, back to back, and not know how to do that. But I mean, and then you also talk too, you know, about like losing a child. I mean, that's a thing that I think a lot of women and men too, because it affects people, but a lot of people go through. But it's like the silent one. It's the one that I'm telling you, when people tell me that, I'm like, what? You went through that and didn't say anything? Like you didn't want anybody to help you? Like what was that experience like, if you don't mind?
And that was like a pregnancy that I didn't even think was going to happen. I was, you know, I had a boyfriend and it went fast. I met him in 2017. I moved in with him. He begged me, like, please. It was like 2 weeks. So I did that like 3 days a week, and then it went to full time. Then we lived together, and that was actually I started dating him around the time when I had hand surgery. My brother was in the midst of the hard time of his death. Well, his sickness. I mean, not his death, his sickness. So then when I was having my hand surgery, it kind of like made him realize like he's a little selfish. Like he said it. He was like, I wasn't prepared to taking care of you because I kind of liked you being independent. Like, so that was one thing.
I'll preach too.
Yeah. So when our relationship started falling kind of apart after that, after a year go by and stuff like that. And then so we broke up and I moved out and everything. And then he moved in with another woman and everything. And then came back like 4 months later. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, what can I do to make it up to you? I made a wrong decision. And so I kind of like, how we women like, no. Like, so I made it difficult for him for like a couple months. And then that was the time at the beginning. So my brother died in 2019. So that January he died June 8th. And so from January, June, I made a lot of wrong decisions because I liked another guy because he came back and I'm like, oh, but that's your ex. And, you always have attachment to the ex because just, it's messy. So I end up, had two miscarriages. So I got pregnant by him twice. So that was the first one during that time. And then the second one was during the pandemic, ran into him at a bar in Camden. I went with my girlfriend and then I was like, oh, I miss you too, during the pandemic. Because that was when that happened. I didn't see him after that. I lost it and he just left. He just disappeared. Never talked to him again. He just disappeared after I told him. I lost him on Mother's Day of 2019. And then I never heard from him until 2020 of like November. And then I lost it again. I had a miscarriage. No, it was like October. And then I had a miscarriage in December. And that one was like, I wish I never made that mistake. That one, I wish I never crossed that line because I was in a hurt space. It was every time, like I said, I was hurt. I made that decision. And then and Plan B pills do not work for people that's over the 164 pounds, or little thick girls are not, it does not work. So I was like, oh, it didn't work. So didn't work. And I got pregnant and I lost that one. So I was like, and I kept them to myself. I never told him. I told him. Okay. But I didn't tell my mom until like the end, like when I lost. Like
I was gonna say, I hope because this is this is an episode.
No. The first one I didn't tell my mom until the end. I didn't tell no one. But the second one I told her, and she was like, yes, like buying me stuff. She was excited because my mom, I don't have any kids, so and I'm their only daughter, and so it was like excitement, and so I was like, oh well, hopefully it will work out with the next relationship or something like that. And I got another relationship a year later. And I just actually ended that relationship. That just actually ended. But I met him in that mess. So it was like one of the guys I met. And I was like, he pursued me for years and years and years. And so I actually told him everything. And it was like comforting when they're just your friend. Yeah. And then when they become your relation in your own relationship, it's not fun. When they know secrets about you. So, but yeah, that was a hard where I had no one to really turn to. I talked to girlfriends that had the same experience or similar experience than I did, but it's not the same when you don't have anyone to, really comfort you in the way that you want to be comforted. And it's now I'm like, I want children, I want to be married, I want these things, and now it's getting harder where when those happens, they were mistakes. Because the choices I made, I should never have done those things. I should never have said, I should never done those things. I should never done those things. But again, now it's like, oh, I wish those things could have stayed or happened when you get to this age, It's getting harder and harder and harder now. But it was it was quiet. I was embarrassed of myself of doing something that people never really see me doing. Like, oh, my mom probably see this and my mom probably like, you talked about it? Like I was very, my mother was one of like, you better not, like I was very reserved. We don't talk about what I do behind closed door. I never talked about that stuff with my mother. My mother never really saw me drink until I start having these incidents of having life problems. I really didn't do those type of things. I never smoked. I'm not a person that really wanted to do the wrong in people's eyes. And then I did all the wrong, like I said, behind doors. And he was like, I'm not that goody two shoe, but I am. So it was like a hard thing to go through. You don't want to tell people, of something you went through and you kind of feel like you failed. Like I feel like I failed. And now people looking at me like, when you having kids or when you get married, it's like, I'm trying. you got a man? You know, I'm like, you got somebody to give it to me? Give it to me. Like, that's how I feel now, because it's like, you don't understand how the traumas or the problems I went through.
Yeah.
I'm trying. So losing losing them just was sad. It was just sad, and I felt like a failure.
Do you feel more sad now? Is that because it kind of seems like I'm hearing that a little bit? Like at those times, of course, it was sad, rightfully so. But you felt like they were kind of like mistakes, not necessarily the decisions. The decisions were mistakes. So I do want to be clear about that. That's how I understood it. But now they're like, you want to have children, and you're in that place. Is like. So people, this is why there needs to be a PSA. People need to stop asking people about when they're going to have children, because you don't know what they're going through now, and what they went through, if they've had and lost, if they just can't, like what the case is, you know. And it is a natural thing. Even for me, I stop asking people certain stuff like that, because even if someone currently has a child, I don't say like, oh, like, do you guys want to have more kids or whatever? Like, you just don't know. And I know people don't mean it in a harm. It's just like, oh, you getting older. Like, what you trying to do? And it's like, I know I'm getting older.
I'm trying.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
You don't understand, but you don't know the try. You never see, they don't see the try, you know. And my last boyfriend, was 2.5 years, and we went to the doctors to see if he was able. He was older. And it was a fertility doctor, and see if he was able, I was able, if I didn't have anything wrong with me. I tried. I thought this was going to be, and it just didn't work, So now it's like, and one thing I don't like, people tell me, is like when they be like, well, you're not a mom, you're not a mom. And knowing that I've been raising kids, for years, and I have an 18-year-old nephew that I was actively participating in that little one's life every day. You can't tell me he wasn't birthed for me. That was mine. Okay. So, and I have nieces and nephews. Like, so when I hear people say those things, I understand, but I almost got a master's in education degree in learning the cognitive of a child, or what a child understanding and the knowledge of, of children. It definitely hurts when people say that to me too. Like, you're not a child. And I know I didn't birth one. But I know how to love one. I know how to be. I'm the best auntie ever. I'm the best aunt ever. Like, I got the shirt and everything. Like, but it's hard to have. It's just hard to have that feeling of, I've really tried. I tried, and it failed. And then when I make the decision now I want it, and it's not easy to get. And so now it's getting harder and harder to get something that you really, really want. At those moments, I wasn't really ready. So that's why I was like, the decisions were mistakes, because I wasn't really ready, but that's loss. So I made wrong decisions because I'm grieving about these deaths that I was going through. I had brothers, I feel like I'm the only child. I don't feel like I have anybody else. I'm not close to my other siblings, so it's like when you have siblings that you were close to, I'm sad, and so you just lose yourself, and the smile I have on my face all day long. Some days it's good, it's real smiles, and some days you just put it on because I'm sad. And every time I go to work now, I work from home, I got this picture on my wall, and I have this one picture. I don't know how old my brother is, but his smile looks so genuine. And every time I want to be sad or upset, I look at the picture like, I can't complain, because that man never spoke negatively. Him as a person, he never spoke. I never heard him yell, scream, angry, mad, upset. But that man spoke Jesus every day. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. If he did something, he might throw a pillow at you or something because it gets your attention. But I'm so sorry. In Jesus' name. So I'm like, I can't be complaining about what I'm going through in life, where you look at somebody that's dying and they're not one complaint. So it's a lot.
It's a lot. I hope anyone that's listening is like really listening, because it's just so many things that you said. First of all, I think that honor the fact that you said, I'm sad. That's not actually easy for people to say, especially someone who, if you're driven, if you're ambitious, if you have certain expectations for yourself, or even like just how you were raised, to just be like, no, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad.
Yeah, like I have my mother, you better not, was like, it was mandatory for me to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. If I could choose, I would not go to college because I want to pursue what I know, my talent. That's why when having a conversation with your friend out there, like their talent, I have a talent, but I don't show it. When people notice it, when people point it out, I have so many people like, this is your talent. Why don't you do anything with it?
What is it?
Well, they feel, not me. They feel that I need to be, I'm photogenic. I need to be like behind the camera. I need to be in some type of billboard or advertisement, TV, print, commercial. And I actually did that for like a year. And so I did auditions and everything. But, you need time and effort driving up to New York or wherever the audition is. You got to do tapings and recordings. And I had to do, record myself and send it off and take it was a lot. But I did it in the midst of where I knew I wasn't unhappy. I was sad, and I should never done it with a time where I wasn't full or whole. You can say, I need to do it now, probably because I'm whole now. But I wasn't whole when I tried to do it. When people kept on telling me, you should do it, and you just listen. But I really wish I could have followed that talent more than sitting behind a desk. My personality does not need to be sitting behind a desk and crunching numbers.
Yeah, no, because I mean, that's, if there was anything, like if someone said to me, when I think about Jessica Kirkland, what I think about, it's going to be the like happy, bubbly, like, I mean, like you said, I don't know, I don't remember. Maybe my memory is bad. I don't remember you being like an angry person.
Not angry, but did I go out to like parties? Did you see me at parties?
No.
Did you see me be involved?
No, but I was an anomaly. I was doing too much. So I don't know. That was kind of hard. But no, I don't know. Not really, no.
I was not really active. I was not really like hanging out with y'all or go to people's houses or something. Like I didn't build friendships because I had my own issues and problems, and one of them was living 3 houses down from me.
Yeah, that's one thing I will always remember. I'm like, I'm pretty sure your dad lived right down the street.
And that was the biggest one through high school. So when you never see me go to party or hanging out, I didn't build relationship with y'all. And I don't know why. It wasn't like I didn't want to, but I just didn't really know how to separate,
That's powerful.
The both of them. Like my issues, my problems that is right in front of me, like right there, knowing that I can like pin it and then be like, hey, you want to hang out,
Yeah.
Or go to your home parties or have, and I, what I envy what you have, the relationships that you have with the girls from college or males from college, the people that you have, like still have friends that you talk to and hang out from, not college, high school.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mean to say college, high school. That you still have those friends. I don't, none. I mean, I'm associates with some. I mean, Giovanni is one. We ran into each other and we're trying to build the relationship back, but I don't have that high school friend that, that's still my friend to this day.
Understood.
And I really wished I had that.
That's powerful too. That is. I mean, I think it's something that can often be like taken for granted, that we have those friendships, because it is a powerful thing. And even those, I mean, they some of those relationships at some point got a little distant. Just be like you said, we all went to different colleges. Some people didn't go, different things like that. But I don't take that for granted. Actually, I can find myself not taking it for granted, but just, it's a comfort. It's like, it's just how it's been, right? It's like, oh yeah, of course there's Ryan, of course there's Sierra, of course there's, these people that I grew up with. And I don't know, it's weird because I've never really considered a reality where those people don't exist, right? So I get it.
Have done.
I get it.
And I can't say, and that's one, I wish I could take that. I wish I could have that, and then when you see those things like what you have, it's like, again, you internalize those things and it makes you like, what is wrong with me? And that's where all the stuff that's happening. But a lot of my grief, the grief happened in my 30s. All the daddy issue, all the issues that I was thinking happened all in my teens and my 20s. But I really felt therapy works. Asking someone to help me. I can't navigate this life without some help. Get help. And I got that. And then my 30s, I don't know what to do with myself. I was really, you think you're making the right decisions and then you don't make the right decisions. And then you're grieving about this or you heard about this, but you can't show it because, I'm too sensitive. I get called, I'm too sensitive all the time when I tell you my feelings now. So you want me to be hard or you want me to be soft? Like, what do you want me to be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So I wish I could remember the quote that I saw today about people don't like the healed version of you because they benefited from your brokenness.
Oh, I felt that one. I felt it.
I feel like that's kind of what you were just saying.
Yeah, I felt that one. I really think that I'm experiencing that now.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, and then kind of what you're saying.
Now, yeah.
It's like, well, pick or choose. I mean, you which version of me is going to be, more suitable for you and what version of you is going to work better? Like, yeah.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't.
Man. Was it damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing too. Like, so, but I enjoy the optimism. I enjoy the positive side though. I don't enjoy the angry side anymore. I don't enjoy that I'm mad at the world. I was mad at my brother for like a year. Like, why did you die? Like, why did you have to die and leave me by myself? I take care of my mother by myself. I have no one to help me. I'm frustrated, having an older mother, having older parents. I'm the one taking care of. Why did you have to leave me? Every time I look at that flag, I'm like, ooh, you get on my nerves because you left me by myself. And that angry, I was there for a whole year that you could not say something to me to change my mind of like, I was in a point like I really was mad at him. Like, I'm frustrated. I don't have no one to do like, but people have same experience or similar experiences, but I was not talking about it. But now I'm like, I need to get it off because I want to take the next step. My 39-year chapter, I really want a better chapter at 39. Yeah. And I want to have a more positive feeling of not having anger.
I think you will. I mean, listen, as we start to wrap up the conversation, I mean, it's just like, I can only hope that your vision of how you might feel on the other side of having a conversation as you drive home from here or whatever it is you do next, like you feel like I got that off because I feel like you did. I mean, again, and it's the thing, like talking to me, like I'm not a person that's here in my belief to say, hey, I'm going to like make you feel better or I'm going to do this. But like the fact that that one, your story matters. And everything that you went through. And I think like anyone who may have grown up with you or known you or didn't, or maybe you grew up with someone similar or someone that has exemplified certain behaviors in life and you make a perception about them and say like, oh, she's mean or she's too good for us or whatever the case is, like, yo, her dad lives down the street. Literally, I can know you can see his house from there because I know exactly where you live. He don't talk to her.
No.
That's crazy. In and out of your house every day. Like, bro, I would be angry. I'd be like, yeah, I saw Jess throwing bottles at her dad's house. Like, it would make sense, but you don't know that about people. And I feel like that's one of the most powerful parts of the conversation for me is that we have to truly, truly stop judging people. It's not that it excuses your behavior, but it explains it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, it does.
I think that's a real thing.
Because people don't know that I was carrying around that anger from something I never caused.
Ooh, my God, that will preach carrying around anger for something that I did not cause.
My parents, why? That's your problem. But why am I involved in your problem? And I got to reap the benefits of the sadness and the anger and the upset of because he left you and because when he left you, he left us. That's how it looked like. And my other brother, the middle brother, he still has anger. He's still carrying around the anger of whatever he experienced of, his father and his lifestyle, how he grew up. And so, but me, like you said, not 3 houses, like feet away.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I go in this house, you don't even say hello to me for years, over 10 years. And I'm like, and I still gave him food, shoveling snow, birthday cards, still was kind to him. Hey, daddy. And I still carry that for years. And I'm like, he missed my graduations. So I got my master. I was like, listen, you're not going to miss this one. Like, you can't keep on doing this. Like, it's 10 years. Like, get over it. Whatever you're mad at, get over it. And like you said, when you see people and you judge people, you don't know what people are going through.
You don't.
And when people are like, oh, my parent is dead. Yeah, I wish I can experience something like least it's an excuse that my father's not here, to not see him and him not talking to me. Like, it's, he's lost, but my dad is right there and he's not talking to me. Like, he's not in another state, another town, the same street. It's hard.
Yeah, that's hard. Listen, we'll have to have you come back for sure, and and share more of your heart with us. But before you go, just briefly, if you had to choose a color for your grief, that whole overarching experience, what would it be and why?
Ooh, color. My grief, I would say, is black. It is black, and black is beautiful, and black can be dark, but it can be beautiful. But through all my grief, I still got some great things out of it, and I can't change those things. Even though I was sad, it was one sad but two greats out of it. So I would say it will be black. Because black, everybody wears it. But when you look at black is a negative too. Sometimes it can be dark, it can be glory. So I would say black.
I love that. It can be dark. It can be negative. It can be beautiful. It can be so many things. Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed having you come on the show. Thank you for walking us into your life and your experience.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. And if anyone can connect with you, right, they might resonate with your story. Where can they follow you, connect with you, reach out to you?
Miss Kirkland. That's my name. I got that from teaching. I forgot. I taught for 3 years. Miss Kirkland, MISSKIRKLAND on Instagram, and my name Jessica C. Kirkland on Facebook. And so that's how you can reach me.
All right. Listen, Jess, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate it, guys. Drop us some comments, share some love, some blue hearts for Jess. It's never easy for anyone to come out and have these conversations and open up their heart truly to us. So we appreciate that. And if you're not following me on Instagram, what the heck are you doing? That is where I hang out the most. Go follow me there at I_am_J_Nicole, guys. So next time, you already know. Love and light. Peace.